As the first order of business, I might suggest that somebody propose a motion to forego reading of the minutes from last year's. Come on. Sally McKay has moved that. Do I have a second? Second, Mac Odell. And so we can dispense with reading last year's minutes. Do I have a motion to accept last year's minutes?
They were brilliant. You're missing out.
Accept the meeting. Accept the meeting.
All right, all in favor of accepting last year's minutes?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? The motion carries. Wonderful. Glad to have that done. So I'm excited to be here. This is the biggest turnout in all the time I've been involved with this organization. I've never seen this many people come for the annual meeting. And I think it's because it was advertised as a party instead of a meeting. Parties are always good things. So it's great. And you know, I've watched over the past several years as this organization has really flourished. And we've done some amazing things. Up above your heads is a sprinkler system that was put in a few years ago. We shored up the foundations of this building. We've done a new roof for it. We've got new floats. We've got all sorts of things for the physical infrastructure for this organization that should have it in good shape for decades to come. And I'm really, really happy about that. We've done it without putting ourselves in a deep financial hole. And it's a testament to the hard work of everybody that's involved in this place for doing that. So as we look at the physical infrastructure being in really good shape, I sat and looked at the board and talked to the board this year and said, what are the things that we need to do? And it's really working on more of the soft side of what's going on with it. And we said we need to up our social media presence. And so Graham found a wonderful person, Ann Bryant, who's hiding here in front of me, who's been working at getting our YouTube channel and our Instagram and Facebook and emails and all the kinds of ways that we communicate with people these days up to a really good level. And I think she's only just getting going, which is really neat. The other thing is we've got this amazing staff here. We've got folks like Graham and Dorothy and John and Roz and other folks that are here all the time making sure that the lights are on, that the programs run, that the boats are built, and all of that goes on. These people have been working without any benefits for years. No health plan, no retirement plan, nothing like that. And so this year, we, as the board, moved ahead with a lot of help and work from Graham and getting it together. And we've now got in place health insurance and a 401k plan for the employees. And I'm really excited about that. So the third thing for the board, we had social media, we had supporting the staff. The third thing is, how do we pay for that? And that's where I need the help from everybody here. The shop is in pretty good financial shape, and we kind of up some of our operating costs doing those kinds of things. And I just want to let everybody know that when the annual fund mailing comes out to you fairly soon, please think about the things that we've done for the shop, that we're doing for it, the costs that go into that, and do everything you can to support it, because it's a worthy organization, and the people that are here every day, can't thank you enough, and can't thank all of us enough for getting them the kind of benefits that they really deserve. It's a very important thing. So I'm not sure what our priorities are going to be for next year yet, because we've accomplished a whole bunch of things this year, but I think that we're going to, we'll be carefully taking the pulse of everything that's going on in the shop, and we'll get that together. I'm excited. It's a great organization. So with that, I will ask Alan to present the financial report.
Right. Thanks, Bob.
This is Alan Jarvis. He is our treasurer and does a wonderful job keeping us on track.
Thank you. So I'm going to go through this quickly because I know you're all interested in what's coming up here afterwards. We had income in the month of September of $28,031.31. This came primarily from a grant that we received, which was $10,000. Educational programs, which are bringing in about $7,955. Event income of $3,680. Membership income of $2,250. And donations, which were just a little bit short of $1,000. We also had a cost of goods, which is materials that we bring into the shop, of $2,064.73, which gave us a gross profit for the month of September of $25,966.58. Against that, we had expenses which were slightly higher. We had expenses of $31,611.44. This is due primarily to payroll. Monthly payroll here runs about $20,000. Management and general expenses were $5,255, and the cost of some of the educational programs that we run were $2,291, which gave us for the month a net operating loss of about $5,644.86. That's actually not bad. We run a budget of about $400,000 here this year, almost every year. So inflows and outflows are more or less designed to match each other. And when we're a little bit under, a little bit over, I don't get too concerned because those of you that have been associated with the shop for a while know that the revenues and the expenses here are not flat, and they're not incremental, and sometimes they're not even predictable. They're very much of a sawtooth curve. So what we do is we keep an eye on the trend as opposed to the actual full numbers. And I don't see anything in the numbers right now that cause any concern. Having said that, we're unfavorable to our budget this year by about $13,433. Now, some better news, we have some cash. The cash on hand that we have right now, which is located in a series of CDs and checking accounts at both the Institution for Savings and the Provident Bank, comes to $301,535. We also have an endowment, which thanks to Bob got set up several years ago, and that is now managed for us by the ECCF. We also have some money which is still with Fidelity. You total that money up, then it's $205,915.90. You combine those two things together, and we have total liquid assets at this point of $507,450.90. So we're definitely in the black. Any questions? Okay.
Thank you, Alan.
Okay.
All right, and next I will have Frank Morris, who heads up our Governance and Nominating Committee, talk about the election of this year's officers.
Thank you, Bob. I'm going to stand here because the idea of getting over these wires is a little bit of a problem. It's unlikely. So we're very fortunate to have a strong board of directors who put in a lot of time, a lot of talent, and a lot of interest to our shop. And we're really grateful for all of those efforts that help leverage all of your efforts in terms of keeping this shop going in a very positive direction. And so we have the pleasure of being able to say that every one of our board members has expressed an interest to want to continue in the roles that they're in. So that's a great situation, and it really speaks to how much commitment each of them have toward the shop going forward. Now, there is a matter of business, though, that we need to get through in terms of process, and there are some nominations that we need to make because of terms that are coming due and that type of thing. So the first motion I would like to entertain would be to nominate two board members who terms are otherwise coming to an end, but would like to continue to serve. And that's Patty Hoyt and Rashawn Martin. Any discussion on that?
Second.
Third.
Seems to be a trend.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Well, very good, very well, thank you. And then with regard to officers, there are 4 officer positions, each of which would require a vote in order to continue for another term. Our president, Bob Barton, who's come back after a small hiatus from being our president, and now is back again. Frank Morse, that's me, vice president. Secretary Pam Bates, ably assisted by Bethany DeRoe, who actually does a lot of the work in terms of getting the minutes together, most of the work. Thank you, Bethany. And then Alan Jarvis, who keeps his finger on all the dollars, which we just heard so ably from. So, is there a motion to renominate?
I move the slate of officers as presented.
Very good.
Second.
Any discussion?
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? The motion carries.
I think that's my speech, Bob.
All right, well, with that, I think I can call the formal portion of the annual meeting closed. And we'll invite Graham, wherever he is, up here to say a few words. He'll be more entertaining than I am. Oh, okay. Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
All right.
This is all postscript. Well, hold on. Dorothy, you want to go first? Or you want me to go first? Why don't you go first?
All right.
I'll introduce Dorothy, though. If you don't know, and you should. This is Dorothy Ansack, our education director. I think this year in that the majority of phone calls that come in for Dorothy instead of me.
No, I don't think so.
Yes.
Dorothy's going to tell you what we've been doing as far as education all year.
Yes.
Et cetera, et
So
cetera.
it has been a busy year for education programs. At our last annual meeting, we were looking forward to an upcoming roster of adult programs and workshops for the winter. Our apprentice program and junior apprentice program had just gotten underway, which they have again this year. I just want to give you sort of a brief review of what we've done for the last year, starting last year at the annual meeting. By the way, this is the shop's 230th anniversary year, so I think it's fitting that we had such a busy year education-wise. In November last year, Brad Dimmick and Cricket Rust from Fretwater Boat Works, which is in Arizona, came and built 2 Mackenzie River dories for 12 different students, with 12 different students. They'll be back this November. They're going to build a different design this year called the Rogue River Dory. So they do whitewater dorying, which is really interesting to watch. They have a little YouTube piece that you can see that's up on our website, and take a look at that. It's pretty crazy what they do with these dories. But they are coming back to teach in November. There are a couple of spots open if anybody's interested in that class. In December, Guy Shepard came and taught a wood carving class, so people came and made Christmas ornaments. Bob Fuller from South Shore Boat Works came to teach a class on building the Plymouth Rocker Dory, so it's for kids. If any of you have grandchildren or little ones and you would like to build a Plymouth Rocker Dory, Bob is coming back in November, and he's going to be teaching that class. It's a great Christmas present, just saying. We offered a make-your-own cribbage board workshop, and we were very lucky that Sally McKay came and actually taught us how to play cribbage once we finished the board. That was very nice. Graham McKay taught a traditional boat building class, which was really interesting this year. We took the lines off a Myron Cowden skiff, and that skiff is actually downstairs in front of the classroom if you want to take a look at it. So the class took the lines and then built their own skiff, and then we raffled that off for the cost of the materials. In the spring, we worked with school groups. We worked with Sparhawk, thanks to Kat. We worked with River Valley Charter School, Wyndham Woods. Jess Regis from Amesbury High School brought her AP math students to solve math problems on the river. Math on the River has been visiting the shop now for over a decade. And they come in the spring and in the fall. The AP students go outside and they measure the river's depth and they make a map. They do bob in a boat. They race back and forth and do time, distance, and speed. They go across the river and measure angles using sextants. So it's a really interesting class. And we get thank you notes after every session with these kids. And they're always so surprised that they've enjoyed what they're learning. They think, when are we going to use this? But they do, so it's really great. Our apprentice program continues, and our junior apprentice program actually too, continue to thrive. We lost 4 of our older apprentices to colleges, heartbreaking, but we have younger kids from the junior apprentice programs who are rising in the ranks and filling in. So all of these kids are participating right now in helping to build a bank dory downstairs in the classroom. Luckily, we have some former apprentices that return. Molly McGinnis, I saw Aaron Cross here earlier, and they come back in and help us in the shop whenever they're in town, which is awesome. The summer youth programs were pretty well attended this year. Weather was a bit of a challenge. We ended up moving to Plan B from the programming that we had organized. But we managed to row between the raindrops. Sometimes we'd take the kids, we'd just row across the river, eat lunch in the boat, and row back. I'm like, okay, we got it in. One of the programs that I was most excited about, we actually didn't get to do, but I'm hoping that next summer we'll be able to do that. We wanted to collaborate with the Great Marsh Shellfish Company at the mouth of the Rowley River. And we were going to have the kids row from here to the mouth of the Rowley River over the course of 5 days. Yeah, it was going to be awesome. So next summer. But the Shellfish Company had a bunch of activities for them to do so they could learn about sustainable shell fisheries, which was really interesting. Our popular programs, we have Castaways, Vikings on the Merrimack, and Build Your Own Model Sailboat. And those always fill up as they did this year. And I just wanted to send a big thank you out to Ward Caswell. I don't know if he's here, but every year, yay, every year, Ward takes time off from his really busy schedule and leads these kids through a week of making beautiful boats that they then sail in a regatta at the end of the week. So thank you to Ward again. Awesome. We also developed some new programming through collaborations with some of the local organizations around here. The Amesbury Carriage Museum and Industrial History Center partnered with us to teach the kids about grist mills and about water power coming from the Powwow River. So we rode from here up the Powwow till we couldn't go any further. Then we walked up to the Amesbury Carriage Museum. The kids built a water wheel. They learned about grist mills, and then we had a pizza lunch so they could learn what you do with the grist. During our woodworking project session, we collaborated with Tailwinds, which is a raptor education and conservation organization run by Linda Noon, who's the wife of one of our boat builders, John Noon. She came in with a barred owl for the kids to see and to learn about. And then during the rest of the week, the kids used hand tools to build owl boxes, which for a barred owl are huge. They're really big boxes. We were going to donate them all to the Audubon, except some of the kids thought they might be able to entice owls to come to their own backyards if they hung them in trees. And the one box that we had left over had several accoutrements like a pool and a pool house. And Audubon decided that was a little over the top. So if anybody would like an owl box with a pool and a pool house, we have one. We also worked with Camp Lincoln this summer, who twice sent all of their campers to us. And it was such a pleasure to watch our LBS kids teach all of these kids how to row. It was pretty awesome. So that was exciting as well, very encouraging. And I couldn't have done it this summer at all without 2 amazing assistants, William Tomowski being one of them. And Susanna Winder. So the 2 of them, when it was pouring rain, came up with, what if we do this? how about if we do this? Because we had to spend a lot of time indoors when we thought we'd be outside. So thanks to them and their great ideas, we had a lot of fun. And then finally, last but never least, we had our well-attended Women on the Water and Thursday evening row programs. We had We had a great season. It has been such a pleasure to row with such interesting and exciting people. These are awesome, all of these people who row. And I want to say thank you to Abbott Lowell. I know he was here somewhere. He volunteered to steer the surf dory on Thursday evenings. Thank you, Abbott. That took a lot off of my plate, so that was nice. And I know you're all disappointed about not rowing this Saturday, but we're going to postpone till May. So instead of a fall haul, we're going to have a spring launch, and you guys can row that. And it'll be great. Yep, we have a lot planned for the coming year. We have a bunch of classes lined up. So keep your eyes on the website. We have our awesome new PR person, wherever Annie went to, and she will be advertising all kinds of stuff. So keep your eyes open. Are we going to do the winter lecture series?
We're planning to, yes.
Yes.
You'll hear all about it.
You'll hear all about
I'm trying to lock down a venue, which is likely to be Beowulf Brewing, or what do
Who
you,
knows?
or the Museum of Old Newbury.
Yeah.
Nah.
Thank you, Dorothy. All right, now I'll come out. All right, so the joy of going last is everyone else has talked about everything, so I don't need to. But the annual meeting, and this is a fantastic turnout, and I would attribute that to a lot of the great communication that Annie is doing. So if there is something you want to see more of, come talk to Annie. Get a new lightning rod. But it's an opportunity. A lot of you are members. I would say most of you are likely members. If you're not, you could go see Roz tonight and become a member. And are you going to do a membership report?
Sure.
Okay, then I won't talk to you much about it. But it's an opportunity for you all to come here and actually see what you're supporting. And by seeing what you're supporting, listening to Dorothy talk about all the programs that we're running, that is one such thing. The preservation of this structure, this property, the history that is here, seeing the projects that we're working on, but also, how old are you, Aaron? So we got 24-year-old Aaron Cross over here in the shadows. Who are you working for? BA, right. He works for BAE Systems now, in 24, but he's a graduate apprentice, and he's the kind of guy that could come in here any given day and be given a task and do it properly. And actually, during COVID, we were a little COVID couple. He was in here helping me finish some boats. He and I. But you have a graduate apprentice, and then you have a current apprentice, William, who you're going to see so much of in a minute, it's going to make you sick. And then we have a junior apprentice. Mila, why are you here? Raise your hand. This is Mila.
Hey,
Mila was in the junior apprentice program today and just didn't want to leave. So that's why she's here. So it's seeing that thing that you probably, we get to see all the time, but you guys don't necessarily. So talk to them. They're here. I'll talk briefly about what we've done this year and what we're doing this upcoming year, but mostly I'll cover the year gone by because if you tried to come to an event this summer, you'll know that the schedule's fluid. We're going to try and make it a little less fluid next year. Don't worry. We'll try to lock these things down early. But this boat's been here taking form over the past year. It's taken us a long time. This is a bit of a deviation from our normal construction technique. Carvel plank, lofting, steam, all those kinds of things. But this boat hopefully will be gone either just before or just after the holiday open house. but we're trying to push this one out the door to send it to Ireland. The 2 boats in the back are boats for the Mohonk Mountain House. We sent 3 boats out there in May, one of which was built by William. Again, you'll see it all unfold here in a minute. And we have these 2 more to build for them, and then upcoming we have 3 dories to make for the Long Beach lifeguards. In the other room, in the darkness right now, is a very big boat for Plymouth Plantation, Plymouth Patuxent Museums. It's the ship's boat for the Mayflower too, so we rebuilt their shallop, and now we're rebuilding their ship's boat. Again, we'll do that with apprentice help. And then the apprentices are going to finish that Haven 12.5, which is for sale. And they're building a new dory. So as our fleet that you guys love to see out there on the moorings is aging, we're replacing those one at a time with apprentice-built dories. And we're actually working with the Governor's Academy now. They are going to, I believe, purchase our old dories, and so they have something to work with for a while as we teach programs there, and they can build their own fleet over there. They just built a whole new outdoor education center, and they want boats to use on the Parker River. So I'm skipping around my thing, so I might forget some things. As I believe Dorothy mentioned, this was our 230th anniversary. We had our birthday in March, and we raised about $10,000 in birthday gifts for our endowment. That was a big hit. In May, I went to Shelburne, Nova Scotia for 2 weeks and built a dory with an old-time dory builder up there. I went with a team of boat builders like myself to record his method because he retired last year and there's no heir apparent up there. The story there is that in Shelburne, one of their local boys came down to this shop and learned the trade in the 1870s, went back home, started a shop which is still in existence in Shelburne, still making dories. Except up there, they've only had, I believe, 5 people between that guy in 1870 and today. Whereas our tradition has been through many hands. And so went to learn that, and then we're working on publishing what we learned in a book right now. I put it off every day when I sit down at the computer. Let's see. Two mornings a week, I am traveling up to Kittery, Maine, teaching a boat building class at Trape Academy up there. We've built 2 dories now for the Wood Island Life Saving Station. We're completing a bank dory for them for their school aquaculture program to use. And we're starting to build a bateau, and it's in the beta stage, this program, I guess, but we'll talk about it here so long as you don't go spreading the word. There's a group that's trying to recreate Benedict Arnold's disastrous expedition to Quebec in bateaus, and they want bateaus to recreate this mission. So we're building one up in Kittery. We're very likely to build one here in company with the Custom House Museum to celebrate that anniversary. So it's in the idea stage now. It's in the actual halfway to something actually happening stage in Kittery. So stay tuned for that. I've got some buildings and grounds things, which is that an unfortunate result of that big freeze back in February was that our system charged. So I won't get into the weeds. Anyway, it charged with water and it froze and it blew a bunch of pipes apart. So we had to have that. It took many months to have that fixed and many thousands of dollars. But if you look around, you'll see a lot of black pipe, and then you'll see some nice new galvanized stuff. That's all the repairs that they had to do. And these pipes, these are the easy ones that you see. They go into every corner of this shop, and I can tell you that there are some really dark, scary corners in this shop. And one exciting thing right now is that, if you've got enough money, you can go to J. Crew and you can buy Lowell's Boat Shop gear. So we did a licensing agreement with J. Crew, and they're selling Lowell's Boat Shop branded clothing. So get it while it lasts.
It's a short run.
Yeah, it's a short run by design. And then there are the various thank yous, where inevitably you forget someone. But Roger's not here, but Bart Bauer is essentially our facilities manager. He and Roger make sure that there's glass in the windows and that the toilet's flush and all of the things that need to happen to make this place go. How long have you been doing this?
20 years.
Yeah, and on a regular schedule, when you talk about volunteerism and showing up sporadically to do work is helpful, but if you show up regularly on a schedule and you can be counted on, then it's invaluable. And Bart and Roger have been that for this place for as long as I've been here, basically. But I mean, if you volunteered ever for this place, raise your hand in this room. I mean, that's going to be most of you, I would think. Fred makes beans at Christmas. Dennis has pulled all the wires out of all the electrical boxes and left them hanging out. You go around the room. The whole board is volunteer. They volunteer a lot of their time to this place. When you see, it wasn't volunteer time, but donated time, when you see this video, that was donated basically time from Matter Communications. When I can tell you, if you were going to actually pay to have this produced, it would be a lot of money, because it's really well done. Who had chowder tonight? You got to thank Val for that.
You can bid on the chowder as a holiday. That was just my idea.
Well, there is the holiday open house coming up. And I'm running it this year. And so volunteer help is always, always appreciated. Silent auction items also are super, super appreciated. They do tend to come in as we get closer to the day. But if you've been to the open house, and I suspect if you're here, then many of you have, you know what an interesting silent auction item is. And so if something comes to mind or you have an idea, just go ahead and call us and let us know. And my last order of business is that in January, we lost our good friend Alan Cormier. He had been to this meeting for a decade, probably a decade and a half prior to last year. And he finally succumbed to a long illness. But he was the organizer and founder, basically, of the volunteer program that was built window boxes and built a lot of the wooden products that were around here. And so he has been very much missed, and I would be remiss to go through this evening without recognizing him. So not that we want to clap, but maybe a little moment of silence for Alan. I guess I'll break that moment of silence. And if you have any questions, I'm here to field them. If not, I will hand it over to Roz for a quick membership update. No questions? Great. Thank you.
This is the best attended annual meeting I've ever seen, and I've been here for 16 of them, I believe. And I just want to report that we have over 400 members. That is 30 times as many members as we had when I first came here. I'm so grateful to all of you for being here tonight and for being such loyal members through COVID, loyal members through this horrendous summer where half of our events just got rained out. Thank you for being here tonight. Thank you for continuing to renew your memberships. When you get around to doing it the next time, I have good news. You may either subscribe and have a self-renewing membership, or you may become a supporter and have a monthly donation. These are things people have been asking for years, and I really hope that you enjoy the fact that they are finally available. I do want to say we have a great volunteer docent crew, and I want to thank them because we don't just have members show up to visit. We have a lot of strangers and new people. We may have 6 or 8 on any given day, any day in October. So I just want to thank the people in sort of chronological order through the week: Frank Goldberg, Mrs. Hoyt, Patty Fiorelli, Sandy Johnson, who unfortunately has a broken ankle and can't be here, and the wonderful Tracy Rush, who lives across the street. And before I go, I want to give a great thank you to my beloved assistant director, who is here tonight, Marie. Thanks for coming.
After the meeting, we screened a short film called Fore and Aft, which was made by a production company called Gusto. It's about the relationship between mentor Graham McKay and apprentice William Tomowski. There's a link to it below in the description. The audio for the following Q&A wasn't the best, but I included it in case it's of interest. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to this channel. Thank you for watching, and see you soon.
So this from how many? 40 hours?
What's that?
How many hours of footage?
How many hours of footage? 24 hours
24
and
hours?
6 terabytes, which is equivalent to like 50 full iPhones.
Hard pass. From me. Hard pass.
Yeah.
So you saw it all.
Yeah, we started in February of 2022, so it was an 18-month period of editing, production, writing, and we finished up this summer. A ton of footage, multiple rounds of interviews with Graham and William, a couple with his parents, as you saw. Yeah, and we wrote it, pieced it together over 2022 and the beginning of this year. And then the production crew went with Graham and William to Mohawk. And that was kind of the final piece.
The aerial shot was beautiful.
Yeah, we took a couple of drones up there and got permission, and yeah.
There's one shot that didn't make it in. That they had a guy here with a. You talked about. You know better than I do.
Well, yeah. So it will come out separately.
Oh, okay.
We have a website for the film that you can see, foreandaftfilm.com. Also on Instagram, so give us a follow. We had a guy with a tiny little drone with a GoPro on it, and he flew all around the shop, through the out the windows, in the windows. So we're gonna release like a full tour, like POV tour of the shop.
So he had virtual reality glasses on. He could
Yeah.
see from a camera in the front of the drone, and he like flew from across the river right in through the window. Flew around inside, down the stairs, did the whole thing, back out through the window. It was pretty rad.
Wow.
Yeah.
Through the chops though at one point.
Yeah, like under chair. Yeah.
I might. I'll look.
You might get to see it.
And we just, the other week, premiered at New Hampshire Film Festival, which we were honored for, and today just got accepted to the Coast Music and Film Festival out in Laguna, California. So,
Oh, really? Next year?
No,
this year, like,
Oh.
in a few weeks. Yeah.
Because I got three dories to bring to Long Beach.
Dang. Perfect.
That would have been perfect.
Build them quick.
It ain't 1910 anymore. Any questions from out there? You want to tap dance until you see this video?
Yeah, thank you all.
Oh, wait.
She's got it.
We don't need to. Let's watch this if there's no questions, and then we'll call it a night.
It's not the biggest video, but. Graham, there's a question down there. I'm so sorry. That's where I saw it. Take William. It's a.
Shout it out.
Sound. It doesn't need sound. It's just going through the shops. Question. I don't know. What was the impetus to do this?
What was the impetus to do the film?
I can say from do you guys know from Matter's perspective?
be a Gabe question. I know you guys were a PR client, and that was kind of
Yeah.
in.
So Matter has been extraordinarily generous to us. So they helped us with a rebrand, all pro bono, and then
Absolutely.
I believe Gusto was just getting off the ground.
Yeah.
And so this was sort of a test case for them to try to, and it was supposed to be a quick, like, let's do something in 6 weeks. We're gonna follow one thing, and then it was like, oh, but well, this kid over here. And so it turned into, I mean, that boat was supposed to be like 3 months. It turned out to be a year. So anyway, that's how it started, and this is how it's going. But I think it's a fantastic thing. Awesome. The trouble with it is it's like a leaf blower in here, and it goes around and turns up all the dust. So everywhere it went, there was a big like pig pen.
Cloud of sawdust.
You can see it through the floor. Like when we were standing downstairs and it was flying up here, because of course floors are old.
Yep.
We would just get these like pockets of dust coming in from the ceiling.
Oh yeah, from up above
Yeah.
as well.
That's
Yeah.
why there's
Oh,
always
yeah, for
dust in
sure.
the museum. It comes down through the floors
Well, it-
naturally.
Yeah.
I think that's an annual meeting.
Bravo.